Hi guys, welcome back to this time's JW4 Reacts, and rather this week's, whenever this gets released. And today I actually have a little fun invention I managed to do, which I'm happy to be able to show off. Now finally, when I've come home from my Italian journey, which, even though it was a week, it felt almost like an eternity. But I want to show you an invention which I've managed to build, which I actually thought we could install in... I live home with my parents, and which we could install in our house, because, well, me and my dad are tech geeks, almost. But check this little piece of machinery out. This thing, sorry, I just had to flip the screen on the camera. This little thing here is a... what do you say? A doorbell control unit, you almost could call it, because if you've ever had someone, let's say that you're taking a nap during the day at home, and someone comes and rings at your doorbell, and maybe you don't want it to sound. Right, I know that sounds almost a little bit mean, but for some reason maybe you want to shut off your doorbell. Maybe you're doing a recording, like I'm doing a lot, and this is the thing that probably would help you, because I've made a code in which all you need are... Now I'll tell both the things that you do need and the things that are, you know, maybe a little more bling than they are needed. So what you do need is your doorbell, which I'm simulating with this little thing right here, this little thing right there. That's my doorbell. You do need this switch system, although you only need one switch, and it could be, you know, one of type switches, or, well, anything. And you do need a Arduino. I'm using a Arduino Uno, which is on loan from the school. And, of course, you do need your doorbell bell, and you could use mostly anything, anything that makes a sound. I'm using a summer right now just for a simulation, but you could use anything. And I'll show you how it works. When this one is down here, close to the 3, because the 1 and 2 are not connected, I'm only using the 3. When it's down here, now it's set to on, so it should ring. So if we push the button, you hear it's ringing and the green light is on. And the green light and the red light are accessories, because this one shows that it's on and it's ringing. This one only shows... Alright, I'll show you. Now we turn off the clock, and now it's going to sound a little bit because it gets a little bit of current, but yeah, it's not going to ring, I don't think, if you're using something like maybe a programmable, if you want to have a special tune or something. I don't think this is enough to make it ring, otherwise I would have maybe need to tweak the code a little bit, but yeah. But check this, you see, you're getting nothing. And only that red light shows, but if I switch it again, you hear it sounds. So okay, now when I've gone over this, I'm going to show you the code and explain the code for any of you who wants that, and I will also release the code in the description. And because it's still kind of a work in progress, if I do anything more to it, I will re-release it, but for the moment I will release it as it is. And I think the code is finished, because it does what I want to do. And if any of you wants to add like an adjustable timer, I have kind of plans to in the future implement support for a clock, a little clock that you put on here, and you'll be able to program it so that it should ring between maybe 3 PM and 10 PM. It will be shut off during the night, and maybe it'll be shut off till maybe 3 p.m. So during the whole morning there, between like 6 and 3, it will be shut off, so that nobody will disturb you then. I may implement that, but the only problem is that it is a huge thing to implement such a device. Compatibility. This took me a bit over maybe a day and a half to code. Right, maybe a day. Maybe not even that, because I did it. No, it was about a day. Now I had to refine it a little bit, but yeah. I'll go over to the code now. Okay guys, so here we have the code, and as you can see, if I start reading from up here, Doorbell Control Unit, made by Janus W4 or Vinyl Walker. Doorbell CU is a lightweight program to use with an Arduino / Genuino Uno. It allows you to control your doorbell's ringing with an on-off switch. Feel free to use and modify this code as see fit, but give me credit for the base code. So, because I released this, any of you can download it, any of you can make changes to it, maybe do a little more optimizing, even though I've tried to optimize it as well as I could. But yeah, maybe you can use it any way you like, but not for any commercial purposes. This is not allowed to be used to make money off of it. But yeah, if you want to use it for your clock and you need to change the code up a bit, and then you can use it for your clock or for any other appliances, yeah, feel free to do it. But this is specialized for the clock, for the doorbell. So here we have the define. These define how do you say it? The pins. So here we have the name for a pin, and here we have the pin number, which I've all wrote down here. Which I've all wrote down here. So these define everything from the green light, the red light, the bell, da. These two are kind of these were very hard to define, because first of all I couldn't come up with a good name, and it sends this one, even though it's called input, you see input, it sends the signal to the other Arduino to start the bell ringing. So this one is from the switch that I made. You know, this with a 1, 2 and 3 that turns on or off the bell. And this one is actually the one that the Arduino sends to this one, which you can see here. Bell switch output is set as output, so this is not like what the bell switch gives you, it's what the Arduino gives the bell switch, if any of that makes sense. The bell switch was the little blue thingy-dingy that I switched on and off. But okay, this defines the pin mode, if something is an input or an output. I've commented a lot here to try to, anyone that want to mess around with my code here should hopefully not have much of an issue reading it, because I've commented a ton. Okay, but where do we go? Here we just have the setup. This is a thing that runs once, which turns on all the lights and everything, and it also turns on the clock for 1 second. These delays, 1000 is 1000 milliseconds, which means it's a whole second. 1000 means 1 second. So as we can see, it waits for 1 second, turns LED off, turns LED on, tests the bell. And this is the loop. This is what will run all the time. And the while digital read bell button equals high means that the while means that it's checking this, and now let me see. Yeah, it's almost like an if, except that it's running all the time. It's a digital read. You can have this, but I didn't use it because I use a digital button. If you use any of the inputs, you gotta use an analog, right? If you plug the pin into an analog input, But right, so this is what we defined earlier, the bell button. So this is at, I don't know which pin it is, and when it's equals to high, this will this whole part right down here will kick into gear. But if it's set to low, which means that nobody's ringing the bell, nothing will happen. When someone rings the bell, it changes to high, and we're in business. And then we have this, which sends an it sends a signal to the switch to check how you have positioned the switch, if you have allowed the clock to be on or if you shut down the clock. This one checks that, and this one initiates an integer named switch state, which uses digital read, a digital pin, and it reads the digital pin bell switch output, which means that the current coming out of the switch, if it's set to on, it will allow all the current. If it's set to off, it will allow no current. So this on or off state is put from that into the switch state, so this becomes a 1 or 0. And here I've used a if switch state equals 1, in other words, if you've allowed the clock or the bell to ring, if you set it to on, the green light will turn on, the bell will ring, it will do this for 3 seconds, then it will shut down the bell and the green light. Else, this is a if or else, so this happens if that, and if this one can't be initiated because that one's not a 1, it's not on, this will go instead. And then it will just turn on the red light, wait for 3 seconds, turn off the red light. And here I've also added some space for other code. I was about to add the clock code, but after doing some research, it's a really big code. It's really a lot, and it's very advanced, so I will not add it as of now. But if any of you manage to add it in without destroying too much of the other code and allowing this functionality to still be in, I would be very happy for you to maybe send the code to me, or give me a link to a download of the code, because I would really like to see it and maybe even be able to implement it, because that's one of the things I want to do. I want to be able to program it. Although that would also need either a desktop app to be able to send input or make an app for a phone. So now when I'm thinking about it in this video, I will not add it. It will be a huge project to add. But I made some base work here, and I'll give the code to you if any of you wants to make this setup. I am more than happy to, well, first of all, I'll give you the code, but also you could ask me if you have any problems. I will try and help you, although I am not a programming guru. I am not very good at this. This part right here was very advanced for me, because now for any of you who's a lot into Arduinos and are good about them, you're going to find this probably very easy. I found it very hard, and it took me easily over like 1-2 hours to get all of this up and running, because I almost had to delete the whole thing and redo it now when I came back from my vacation, because I had done something here and I had made it working, but it wasn't a good system. It wasn't very streamlined, and it was not very easy to modify. Plus it was unstable, so I almost had to delete the whole thing and rebuild it. But now I think I've both made it streamlined, and kind of think that I may actually but I may just alright, now I completely lost what I said. Crap. Yeah, this is all the code, and remember, you can use it for free. I'll give it to you, but you cannot make money from this. Everybody get that? So this is only for personal use. But yeah, that's all from this time, and thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.